Hey there. Welcome back to Morbid News with Asha. I'm not dead yet, only on the inside. Let's get to our top news stories of the day. Our first story comes from Australia, Brisbane to be exact. And now this just tickled my pickle like you have no idea. When I first saw the headline, I was like, this is gonna be great. And then it got even better. It was like Christmas in April. So the headline that I read was, "Man who abused Virgin Airlines staff deemed too fat for jail." That in and of itself made this story for me. I was like, yes, I want to know more about that. Like, why was he harassing Virgin Airline employees? How fat is too fat for jail? Like, what are we talking here? So apparently he would call up Virgin Airlines and harass them to the point of them feeling scared, belittled, upset, and degraded. He used racial slurs, and he refused to believe he was talking to anyone who was actually in Brisbane. He was even banned from the airline because of this, because of the number of calls that from dating back to 1998, just harassing these people. So he went to court, and his lawyer basically said it's too difficult for him to be in prison because of a back injury and, the fact that he is obese. So he was supposed to be originally sentenced to 12 months in prison, but instead he just had to pay $2,000 and be on his best behavior. Now, what really got to me was the fact that this guy is a ghost hunter. Legit. This guy calls himself a paranormal investigator. His name's Cade Jones, paranormal investigator Cade Jones. How the hell are you going around chasing ghosts in, like, probably most likely abandoned buildings, stuff where you need to like be agile to get into when you are obese? This doesn't make any sense. Just like, I want to know what his day to day is like, and how, why does he even have time to go around harassing airline employees? Like, well, how's your business going, dude? Like, you're literally an obese paranormal investigator. Like, why don't you just send a hex? Tell some of those ghosts to just like do the hard work for you. Like, why are you doing all that? Like, just have like Casper go harass these people for you, and maybe you'll get what you want. I just, I'm personally kind of jealous. Like, I would love to be able to write paranormal investigator like on my business card, but like, I like money. So, but then again, I majored in music. Moving on, our next story is about the bees, not the bees. As much as I love bees and, I think that we should be helping them out right now, this story from Taiwan made me think otherwise. This woman was complaining of really severe eye pain and went to the doctor, where they basically looked into her eye and was like, there's something in here, and pulled out these like microscopic bees that feed on tears and human sweat. Basically, they said that you can get this from fallen trees, and I guess they hang out a lot around graveyards, which I'm like, I was debating going to the graveyard. Like, there's this really nice one in Brooklyn, and I've been thinking about going, and now I'm like, maybe not, because I don't want eye bees that feed on tears to get trapped in my eyes. Unfortunately, it did kind of mess with their eyesight because they're basically scraping up against her cornea for days, but she didn't get any sicker, and it did not affect her central nervous system. So, all in all, like, good story, bad story, I don't know. It's just kind of weird and terrible and gross. Our next story comes from a lab in Oregon Health and Science University in Portland, Oregon. Yay! The Pacific Northwest. It's literally where serial killers are made. And if you don't believe me, do your research. So a bunch of students went in for what they thought was a textbook cadaver dissection and ended up with a lot more interesting stuff than that. When cutting open the cadaver of a 99-year-old woman named Rose Marie Bentley, they discovered a lot of her organs were either in the wrong place or completely opposite of where they should have been, or all sorts of weird valves connecting to things they weren't supposed to connect to. And they said that actually this condition, which is called situs inversus with levocardia, is super, super, super rare. They said other than a few times when she had some stomach issues, like heartburn, like she was totally fine. The craziest part is that she had like a hysterectomy. Like nobody said anything then. She had her appendix taken out. Literally, there was no, just like, it was in the wrong place. And it's like, you didn't want to investigate that any further. But overall, like, I just think that's really freaking cool. And she signed up to be an organ donor, and I'm like, I don't know if her organs would make sense in anyone else's body. I hope that they can use that for stuff, but I just think it's, crazy because at the beginning of the story, they're like, these students are cutting open a body, and they're like, wait, the like aorta isn't where it's supposed to be, and they're like, you dummy, and then the professor comes over and he's like, holy crap, this woman's like all messed up inside. It's just like a really cool random thing to have going on that really doesn't affect you in any way. It didn't make her sick. It just was like a cool thing that happened in her body that it was, before she was born. And it's just crazy that you can live with all these weird defects or non defects and be totally fine. Our last story today is about a Toronto cop. Now, there's just like a whole article about how this cop was basically a terrible cop. He was charged with misconduct for basically hitting on a woman in a construction site while she was working and also not wearing any construction gear. I don't know which one's more important, the not wearing construction gear on a construction site or hitting on someone while they're working. Also, while you're working as a cop. Despite all that, though, the more interesting part of this is that at one point, this cop called Junior McLaughlin, his name's Junior. Who calls their kid Junior? That's like not even a name. That's a non-name. Regardless, this guy was caught drinking on the job while he was supposed to be guarding a dead person's home. First of all, you're on the job. You're a cop. You're supposed to be working. Then also, just being very disrespectful of this dead person. Like, I'm assuming it was either natural causes or possibly a murder. Either way, it doesn't matter. You can't go around drinking around a dead person's house. Like, you're just gonna get yourself into trouble. I know I would. I'd probably start sifting through all their stuff. That guy's gonna get himself into a deeper black hole than the one they finally just took a picture of. Well, that's all the news I have for today. Kind of short. It's hard to edit all these. I'm lazy. But anyway, I hope I'll see you in the next one. And if you have any morbid news, please send them my way. I'm Asha. Bye.